And good day, everyone. Richard Cowperthwait for Northwest Access TV. Thanks for joining us. Happy to have alongside today St. Albans Mayor Tim Smith.
Hello, Richard.
Also the Executive Director of the Franklin County Industrial Development Corp. Mr. Mayor, good to see you down at Killcare. We should note, taping this show on, where are we, Wednesday, June 11th? I think I have the right date. But nice time at Killcare last Saturday with a nice birthday celebration for our good friend Mr. Phil Knight.
Yeah, very nice.
His 80th birthday. And Joan, nice to see the kids. Boy, talk about a couple of high-achieving kids they have, but nice gathering.
Yeah, they
you
did.
turned in a fine effort with your proclamation.
No, I appreciate that, yeah.
Anyway, but good and nice to have the night. I guess they're in town all summer, have a camp at the base, so nice to have those guys back. Anyway, so it's been a while. I'm sure we can probably find a few things to talk about. I guess city reappraisal comes right to mind.
Yeah, for sure.
And I took note of that myself. I was just talking off air. My house got a little more than doubled in tax appraisal, and I guess the official hike was a little under 2 times, but not surprising to you that they went up that much?
Yeah, I mean, we were at
Just way below where we
60% or 62% of the common level of appraisal.
and you're supposed to be what, at least 80%?
80 minimum.
80 minimum.
And preferably at 100.
Wow.
So
way below.
so way below it has been. I don't remember the last time there was a reappraisal.
It's a while ago.
But they had the timing was needed and it's required by law, so we did it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the city's got a lot of companies. Sounds like, I'm guessing maybe half the towns in the state or cities are doing that.
I mean, we were fortunate to get it done when we did.
Right.
And everyone, I'm sure everyone, saw a substantial increase in their value.
Yeah.
The theory is that would, it doesn't mean your taxes double.
Right.
It just means
Hopefully
the
it
tax,
doesn't mean that. It certainly doesn't mean
the
that.
tax rate will be adjusted down
Right.
to reflect what's needed for the city budget.
Is it clear? I mean, you've seen some numbers and stuff. Obviously, residential went way up. How did commercial, industrial, did they go way up
Yeah,
too?
there was commercial properties with residents up above, and those went up significantly, for sure. I think the tricky thing for folks is, and it is for me as well, you know what the appraised value is, but you don't know what the tax rate is yet, which obviously leads to not knowing what your tax payment is.
Right.
And so there's, I just spoke to the city manager about it and trying to come up ways to sort of educate folks on how they might be able to figure that out. But there's a couple outstanding things. Taxes will go up because we did have a 9% increase. I mean,
For police
for
department,
police,
in
for
particular.
6 or 7% of that was police.
Yeah.
And then we still don't know what the education fund or what's going to happen there. I know the governor paid it down, paid
Would they
excuse
throw
me,
in like $77 million that they had to just get it down to about a 1% increase, I think? Was
I
that?
thought I saw 119 at one point,
Oh, really?
113. But yeah, trying to get it down to a reasonable rate. So it's a 1 or 2, but we still don't know what the new structure is and what the impacts of that are going to be.
The
So
legislature's having a very, very, maybe not surprisingly, a very tough time with that.
yeah, I don't think they jumped on it quick enough.
Yeah.
That's my impression.
And I
Maybe
guess
I'm
they
wrong.
were talking, whatever they were thinking of putting it into effect like 4 years down the road, and the governor said, forget 4 years, I want this in no more than 2 years. But
Yeah.
boy, tough issue that they're still struggling with.
Yeah, so the appeal date for your appraisal is to get a letter in to the city by this Friday, June 13th.
Wow.
I think that snuck up on a lot of people, including me.
Yeah, no, I was pondering that. I don't think I'm going to go that route, but it crossed my mind. I'm sure it's crossing
Yeah.
a number of people's
Yeah,
minds.
for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all sugars off. I'm not sure what the timeline is.
Yeah.
I know they'll do the appeals, but so when we all paid taxes in June, right?
Or end of August would be the next. It's
Is the next one,
January, February, March, April, May, February, May, August, November, I think, if I've got my 3 months.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So those will be coming due, and I don't know what the amounts are going to be, but
Interesting. But for folks who are freaking out about it, the point you made, property, appraised values have about doubled, but there's certainly no reason to think your property taxes will double.
Yeah, for
but they'll
sure.
certainly be up generally.
Yeah, I think that, first maybe some commercial properties that have been ignored in terms of appraisals over the years may
Yeah.
see a pretty big jump. But no, if your appraisal doubled, your taxes will not be doubling.
Yeah.
So if you went from 400,000 to 800, you're not going from
Yeah.
So
I think I've got a pretty average house in St. Albans City tax appraisal wise. I was tax appraised at about 175 and got jumped up to a little under 400,000. I'm thinking I'm kind of an average house, but boy, just think about folks young people buying houses
yeah.
and stuff. I mean, geez.
Yeah, no, it's
Boy, that's really tough.
throw that in along with the interest rates, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So it should be a active summer of discussions when things continue to progress.
Yeah, I guess so. Speaking of the police department, how are you faring with staffing for St. Albans PD these days?
I believe we're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
We didn't have any update on Monday when we met, but
Yeah.
no news is good news sometimes. But
Yeah.
I'm quite sure we're pretty close to full.
And of course, City PD had just about 1 year now of getting back to St. Albans town.
Yeah.
I'm not a year off, just
Yeah.
about one year since the
Yeah.
agreement between the city and town.
Yeah, we get they share a report weekly. Calls are significant. It doesn't break down between city and town, but it is a large number of and a variety of calls, whether it's domestic or speeding or
Yeah,
I know they've made good headway on arresting individuals who had warrants out on them.
no, yeah,
Every week they're arresting individuals that have failed to show for court and had warrants issued for them.
yeah.
So and then just
And the street crimes unit up and running again.
yeah. I mean,
I'm sure they have plenty of stuff to do. Huh?
we had the bus next door to me actually.
I guess I heard about that.
that.
Wow, so literally next door to you.
Yeah, it was next door.
Wow.
So, that's and that was not the first one. So they've had others, and
Wow.
so I think we're making headway on that front, but there's still a
Yeah.
long ways to go for
Yeah.
sure.
And winter tends to be quieter with colder weather, so
No, that
some of
actually-
you expect things to kick up again.
Well, spring was quiet because of
Yeah.
the weather with all the rain we
Yeah.
had.
Yeah,
Knock on wood, it's been quieter now than it was last year, for sure. But once that weather breaks, who knows what? I don't think we're seeing as much activity in the park or on Main Street. There are still, we still get reports of cars being broken into and whatnot.
really.
But I think residents are being a little more vigilant, locking cars and
Yeah.
ring cameras and and all of that. So I think we're making some headway. I don't know of any encampments in the city.
I was about to ask you about that. Yeah.
I think we've moved most of them along. There might be one down by Agway, but for the most part, I think we've moved them along.
Yeah. Boy, another issue that the legislature just keeps wrestling with, kicking the can down the road, whatever. I mean, another tough issue.
Yeah, I think they wanted to allocate some funding to some of the like CVOEO and I think there's
Yeah.
5 organizations, Pathstone, CVOEO, and a few others around the state that they want to funnel money down to handle the homeless situation. We have concerns about that. We think it's a state issue and the state should be addressing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got 5 organizations. That's a lot of area to cover for when you look at the entire state. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's moved forward, but I know the discussions are happening.
Right.
So.
Well, getting into some summer, hopefully a nice day today, Wednesday, June 11. Hopefully we'll have some decent weather after quite a bit of rain. Northwest Farmers Markets have cranked up again. We've got our first Wednesday concert coming up Wednesday, June 18, I believe,
Yep.
on Taylor Park. Certainly Taylor Park was pretty busy last weekend with the Pride Festival and Farmers Market, and hear many comments about that. I heard there was a
I
lot
heard
of
that-
activity. I didn't catch
Yeah,
any of it.
I was actually at the Dairy Day parade.
As was I. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And So I heard the parade went well. I didn't hear, I didn't get any feedback, good or bad, on the other activities.
Yeah.
And then after, well, we had Phil's event.
Yeah, that's
noon
been a
that day.
Killcare.
And then I was out of town for the afternoon, for a memorial service. But yeah, I wasn't around much over the weekend, so I didn't.
But yeah, no, a lot of activity coming on. Hopefully we'll have a decent
Yeah,
weather
I feel
summer.
bad for the farmers market. I mean,
Yeah,
getting
well,
rained
they've had-
on,
they had
getting rained
some-
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
They actually, 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually had the thunder and lightning storm that they had to shut down
Oh, really? Wow.
fairly quickly.
Huh.
The booths are down, maybe due to the weather.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that as they're able to grow more product, fruits and vegetables, that those booths will grow.
Yeah.
But right now it seems to be down a little bit from what it was last year and the year before.
Hopefully we'll see strawberries pretty soon. In fact, tonight I think is the official full moon for the full strawberry moon. Unless it was last night.
I think it was last
night.
night.
Looked pretty
I think
full
it was
last night.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll start seeing some strawberries coming
Yeah.
in soon.
But and for those who don't know, there's a schedule out there for the farmers market. They have entertainment every day as well.
Oh, right.
So every Saturday they've chosen someone to sing.
And in fact, in addition to that, I think there's an organization that also hooks in every Saturday. It seems like on the posters I've seen. I think there's music and like an organization shows up too. I think I saw, but
Oh, I didn't see that.
Sounds like
I saw the music side of it, but
at least music.
yeah. So
No, a lot of stuff going on.
I think you and I've spoken about it in the past. I think if people like music, you could probably go within the 2-county area, Franklin, Grand Isle. You could probably see free music on pretty much any night.
Yeah, of course, St. Albans town folks have the farmers market on Thursday with music. Georgia's got a nice, kind of like same time as the St. Albans Wednesday, but I think they do a Wednesday music down by the town clerk's
I think
office.
Highgate Sunday
Highgate
night.
still has some.
I think over in the islands you have Snow Farm Vineyard does it on Thursday
Right.
nights, I believe. So
Right.
there's and then you have
Enosburg Falls, Summer in the Sound. I just got that scheduled at the Dairy Day Parade. They've got
And-
3 concerts there, and I think even beyond that, the town band plays on other days. But no, a lot of music.
and you have East Fairfield, the community center.
Far be it, I'm usually there.
Yeah.
I'm a sponsor, in fact. My
Oh,
good
you are,
friend
yeah.
Scoop Foley is a sponsor out there.
Yeah, so they've started there
Thank you.
already, and
It's about every other week or
yeah,
so.
so
There's tons of music.
plenty of music.
Anyway, Passport Agency, Tim, any news on the
No,
Passport
it's
Agency?
sort of quieted down. I think some of the pressure that the federal delegation, Senator Welch and Sanders, and mainly Welch, have put on. I think it's been moved to the back burner at this stage. We haven't heard of anything extra,
Yeah.
so which is good news, obviously.
But again, nothing imminent. Worst case scenario, you think that would still be here for a while, or just really hard to say?
It's tough to say for a while.
Yeah.
The impression I got was a couple of years,
Couple of years maybe.
at least, before maybe, and who
Yeah.
knows what.
Huh.
Who knows where the political discussions are and
Yeah.
who takes over the office, but 2 to 3 years, I expect that it's going to be remaining in the area.
Yeah. Boy, the news on the national front out of Washington, pretty wild these days.
I was thinking that today.
I mean, with, the Doge efforts and stuff, any impact on St. Albans City? Are there any federal funds that the city is maybe not getting or may not get?
I haven't heard of any. I think regional planning, Northwest Regional Planning, actually access more federal funds than what the city does.
Yeah.
And I think I saw something where they were impacted by 2 of their grants.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Could be more, but I think I heard 2 at this stage.
Yeah.
So there is some local impact for sure. As far as the city goes, I don't. We were not made aware of any.
Yeah.
At our meeting on Monday night. So.
Boy, yeah, it's pretty wild times out there. The Gill Tabor complex, is that kind of a warehouse operation?
It's a warehouse operation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the highest and best use by any means, but
And not much reason to hope for anything more than that there, or?
they're not using the whole building. They could use a portion of it for office space if there was a
Yeah.
need that arose and people came forward. But at this stage, I don't foresee any impact there.
Yeah, with your Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation hat, Tim, Beta Technologies, how are they faring out at the old Energizer plant?
Yeah, I think they're plugging along. I don't
Yeah.
think the job growth is minimal. I don't know if they've been impacted by what DC now,
Yeah.
but and I think they're still continuing to focus on FAA approval and moving forward. So
Yeah,
the location, the Energizer building, they've done a wonderful job of rehabbing it, and but job growth and for the region is minimal at this stage.
is that right? Again, we're talking labor shortage, that situation,
No, I don't think that affects them for this purpose. I
Yeah.
just think until they actually get approval and start producing planes,
Yeah,
off the line, then because there's mainly batteries in St. Albans, I don't think.
yeah,
I think then that they will gear up and as the need for the batteries are in production, then that will show the increase of job-related items in St. Albans.
yeah. The Perigo situation in Georgia, big news some months ago with Perigo deciding to pull out of town in a few years. Was that? I don't think I've talked to you about that before. Did you see that? Was that not real surprising news, or?
I did not
Obviously
see it
not good
coming. As I
news.
tell people, I should have seen it coming. What happened was their existing plan is 45 years old.
Of course, the old Way plant, right?
Right. But the FDA, their requirements are more stringent now. So my take is that the plant, the existing plant, had trouble keeping up to what those requirements were. So Perigo knew it. They invested millions of dollars to build a whole new plant in Georgia. That was back. They did a lot of engineering, a lot of site work.
Wow.
And then, which I did not see, they bought a Nestle's plant
In Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And at some point with COVID and the increase in cost, I believe they made the choice to, instead of building a whole new facility here, they would invest capital in the Nestle's plant.
Yeah.
So this one was sort of put on hold, and the money was redirected to Wisconsin. So when it's put on hold, and about the same time they bought the Nestle's, that should have sent me or others a message probably that something was going to happen. So that's how it came down. And
But they'll be there for, a few more years as they kind
they
of
say 2027,
Yeah.
July of 2027. Could be longer, could be shorter. But and then we need to have some discussions about the building, what it might be used for. Even if another baby formula facility or operation buys it, they're still going to have to invest millions and millions of dollars into upgrading it. So, and whether or not Perigo would even sell it to a competitor, I don't know. So, a lot of unknowns still.
Yeah.
Last I knew, I think they had about 450 employees.
Wow.
That was before the announcement. I don't know where they're at now. I think I've seen some signs around for hiring. They have offered a severance package that is very, very good.
Yeah.
Whether, I think whether people stay for the 2 years or choose to move on probably will depend on what offer they get.
Yeah. I think I've seen you quoted, it should be with seemingly a fair amount of jobs still around, you think, for workers who live there should be
Yeah.
able to get another decent job.
I think between Franklin and Chittenden County manufacturing are all. I mean, you can't listen to your radio without hearing an advertisement. Although, with that said, a number of them have. I've heard that a number of them have the quality of applicants is higher,
Oh yeah.
and the quality of the individuals is higher.
No, really.
So, whether it's inflation or for whatever reason, more people. The job vacancies are not as great as they were a year or two ago, but there are still plenty of vacancies.
Yeah. Of course, your hope has been understandable, good hope for all the folks who commute to the Burlington area. Hey, stay around here and get a. Have you got any sense whether you're having some success with that, or hard to say?
I hear individual stories. I mean, I think City Hall has 2 or 3
really
employees that were working in Burlington and chose to. So, and I gotta believe their quality of life has improved dramatically.
Yeah.
Based on not driving an hour and a half every day. So, the other piece we've talked about, Richard, is the Canadian activity.
Yeah, boy, is that having an obvious adverse effect to your rise, just traffic-wise?
Not for me, just in downtown St. Albans, but I think, you hear it from Jay Peak, you hear it from Plattsburgh, Burlington, so I think the ones, they obviously have better tracking ability than we do. And, but I think there's definitely been an impact for sure.
Yeah, certainly keep hearing the stories.
And I don't know how it impacts the other way, for Americans going into Canada. I don't think it's, I don't think Americans think of it the same, and I don't think it interferes with their activities.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that'd be affecting northbound traffic.
I don't think so.
Yeah. On the housing front, 175 Lake Street, is that not full yet? Or they still got to wait?
It's not full, and I don't fully understand.
I mean, that kind of blows my. I guess I would have thought naively that on the first day they're open, they'd be full. So I mean, that's to say they're having trouble finding people to live there, or
finding people to meet the criteria.
To meet the criteria.
That's the key.
Gotcha.
They've had people apply that make $1,000 too much.
So just make too much money.
Yeah. On the other end, I know Reed Commons, the senior housing, opened up for applications within the last 3 weeks as well.
Okay.
I don't think they're going through the same scrutiny as what Grant has to on Lake Street.
Yeah.
Because he received some tax credits.
Yeah.
That require a little more scrutiny on filling those income levels.
Yeah.
So I think that's I agree with that. I know Grant is very frustrated having to deal with.
Jeez, I bet.
I mean, I don't know how many he has in there, but it's not full. It's probably not. It's not half full. I don't imagine.
Really.
So, but from ones that I've heard that have moved in, a number of them have been families, and they like the
faring
accommodation.
okay.
It's been good. It's been good for those families.
Hopefully Cathedral Square with the senior housing. Yeah, I'd like to think that would be working out a little more easily.
I think it is because of what the sort of the structure of funding was.
And the city has plans for housing right near Reed Commons, does it not? Is that pretty solid?
Yeah, no, that's we signed the agreement 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and so it'll be 82, basically market rate workforce housing, if you will.
So hopefully you'll have that'll be an easier situation to deal with than 175
It's a private
Lake Street.
situation. He's the guy's funding it. The developer's funding it through his own activities. So I don't expect they'll cross the same.
In construction, are we talking construction starting even this year, this summer sometime, or not?
No, I don't. I know they were doing some site work in terms of the roads and parking lots, I believe, but I don't know what I don't know if they'll break ground before winter or not.
And speaking of that area, Railroad Dispatch Center, are they gone? Are they gone? So or
No, they're still there,
still
but
there?
Reduced level of activity for sure.
And on the way out or not
Yeah, it sounds that way.
really? To what, Jacksonville, Florida? Is that
Yeah,
where?
yeah, for whatever reason.
And that was an issue, just having trouble, just not finding enough.
Their claim is couldn't find enough help to fill
Really?
the vacancies. But that's a big hit. That was 70
Boy,
jobs.
that hurts.
Good paying jobs for sure.
Not to mention a nice new building for them.
New building, 2 years old. Supposedly they're going to honor their lease for 10 years.
Yeah.
But the area's turned out nice. I mean, if you look at the road out to the dispatch center, the sidewalk, the lamps, the lighting that's on site.
Got the new traffic lights here. They seem to work pretty well.
It's been a long road.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 years to get to that point. But
Yeah.
I think it's it's huge for the city's grand list for sure.
Yeah. Seems like I'm remembering talk of an extension of the rail trail. Will that come in? Will that come down?
Come down from where the messenger is and connect to the Mississippi Valley Rail Trail.
Okay.
Of which is I haven't been on since they laid the new stone, but they did grade it.
I did see some work going on.
And the path was closed from Greens Corners back to St. Albans.
Yep, I noted that.
And that was, but it looks like the stone is being laid and compacted. So it should be ready to go fairly soon, I would think.
Yeah. Talk about a great resource and intersects with Lamoille Valley Rail Trail.
For sure. Yep, it's a nice attraction for the region for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, summer projects for the city. Anything of note? We got some paving going on, or anything?
Yeah, we'll have paving. I don't know I've lost track of what streets it'll be.
Yeah.
We're still not moving forward yet. That'll probably be next year on the Federal Street connector, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any big projects in hand. I think playing a lot of catch up. Public Works has been very, very active. They had a 16-inch water break on Lower Newton last week. That took up a significant amount of time. They've been busy. As I've said before, it's a great team that works at Public Works. We get good quality work from them, and it's nice to have them.
Good, Mr. Mayor. Thanks. You covered a lot of ground. Let's hope we've got a good summer coming up and some decent weather. Certainly, plenty of things going on.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Thanks
to St. Albans Mayor Tim Smith. Thanks to producer Josh Pryor. Thanks for watching us here on Northwest Access TV. I'm Richard Cowperthwait. See you next time.